Hey everybody, it's Angela and I am back with another process video. And for this one, I'm going to be using this older basic gray B-side collection. And I got the whole collection pack for 99 cents at Tuesday Morning. And then I got the chipboard pack for 99 cents as well. So it was a really good deal. And I wanted to use it for this photo here of the two grandsons, but I wasn't sure because the colors in that upper right hand photo, they're a little more brown and plain, and I knew that doing that black and white one would be easier, and then there was another one that had more of the citrusy yellow, but in the end I decided to go with that first photo that's a little more brown. And when I have a photo like that that's taken indoors and it's a little more brown, I want to lighten it up. But if I put it on a white background, it really has a high contrast and it really kind of just shows how dark your photo is. Or at least it feels that way to me. And so what I try to do is I try to kind of acknowledge that it's a little bit darker photo by putting it on a medium tone background, not a dark background and not a white background, but something in the middle. So I chose that kind of light gray. And then what color there is in the photo is kind of a warmer wood tone, and he's got a little bit of a peachy color on Mason's little pajamas there, and there's a blue color too. But the peach really worked well with the peach in this collection. And then to brighten it up, I am going to use touches of white because you can see in that photo it's kind of blown out in the upper left hand corner of the photo where there's some backlighting. And so I am going to bring in some white, and then I'm also going to bring in some of these really bright citrusy colors, and I think that's going to help lighten it up. Even though they're really saturated colors, they're not white, but they feel brighter and cheerier and lighter when you put them together. So I'm just going to take some little strips from some of these other papers that I know I probably won't use as a full background. And then I took that cut apart card that I knew I would never use of the eyelashes, and I'm just going to use the back blue part of that card. And so here's where I go with this citrusy yellow. So I'm hoping that that's going to help lighten it up. And then I'm taking this cassette tape cut apart card and I'm going to use that as well. I wanted to save the other cut apart cards I thought I would use, since I don't really have any other embellishments to this collection besides the stickers that came in the pack and then the extra pack of chipboard stickers that I had gotten. So I cut down my mat a little bit more and decided to do a little bit tighter mat cluster on this. And I'm just alternating between some of the peaches in the collection, some of that teal color, and some of that bright yellow. And so I'm liking that. I'm going to go ahead and commit, and they're going to be messy layers, kind of askew. And I think that really helps brighten it up. And I love the touches of black that are in that paper because I do plan on doing a bunch of stamping. And I'm not at my regular craft room. I'm down at the farm while I'm making this. So I'm limited in my supplies. But I did bring a bunch of older stamp sets that I leave there that I'm going to use today. And then I had brought along a brand new stamp set that I got that I was just itching to use. So these are my old stamps. And one of them, like that one's a Jenny Bolin and a Heidi Swap. And these are ones I just leave here. So I decided to break them out and find some more graphic designs. I want it to look, I know it won't look completely doodle-like, but I wanted it to have a more maybe graphic look to it. I didn't want to use any kind of vintagey or floral type of icons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the colors from my mat and stuff and make a little cluster of paper strips up here in this corner just to bring the color up there. Then I'm going to have my matted photo there, and I'm going to put a bunch of stamping around around that photo to kind of give it a little bit of a doodly graphic look. So I'm just committing to these paper strips and getting those glued down. If I would have had a sewing machine here, I probably would have run some black stitching through them, would have been really cool and around my photo. But don't quite have a sewing machine there yet. So there I am putting all those strips down, and I like that chipboard piece that says LOL on it. And I'm kind of leaning towards this Delish, but I do change it out. And they are sitting at the kitchen table, but they're not actually eating. So I go with something else here in a little bit. I have these letter stamps, and I want to just spell out "so happy." And I like them because they have little lines in them, and it kind of matches to some of the chipboard pieces and the font that they use there. And part of this will be covered up, but I just want the look of all these different items. So I don't know exactly at this point how much of the "so happy" is going to be covered, but in the end you can still tell that it says "so happy" even though the descenders of the letters get covered up. So I'm just placing those on my stamping block. And my ink pad is an older one that I had gotten. It looks like from Oriental Trading. I got a set of like 5 different colors, and I just leave it there at the farm, and so it's kind of dried up, and it wasn't the greatest ink pad to begin with, so it's almost looks gray, like a dark gray instead of black. So in the end, I do go back and I color over the top of some of the items and outline some of the others with a dark black pen to give it a little bit more black look. And then I leave some of it kind of this dark gray as well. So I'm liking that. And then I'm going to pull out this Jenny Bolin. It's like a torn notebook edge stamp that's really cool. And I had to look for a bigger stamping block. So I find that, and I wanted that just kind of peeking out of one edge. So I'm going to give it a little test there. And I'm going to have my picture a little bit tilted to one side. I wish I would have tilted it a little bit more or put it straight, because it kind of looks like I accidentally didn't put it on straight because I didn't tilt it quite enough, but it's okay. But if I could do it again, I'd probably tilt it over a little more. And then this is the Heidi Swapp stamp set that has things like today and remember, and just in her nice cool handwriting. So I'm just going to stamp a few of those around. And at the end I do go back and do a little bit of doodling, and I also write their names in and amongst the stamps, just kind of hidden around within the stamping. So here I am doing some more of the, oh no, this is a Studio G, one of those from the Joann's kind of dollar bin, and it just is an arrow that says look. And then there's another arrow here that kind of goes around the corner. I place that up there. And it was fun to pull out all these old stamps and use them again. And this one is I think it's from Stampology. And it's just a bunch of little border strips. So I'm just going to go ahead and overlap some of these items and kind of interconnect everything. So I do that one, which is just some little dots on a strip, and then this one that says exciting, and it has like a bunch of little diamond things around it. And the boys just look so happy in this photo. They're just, both of them laughing. And so it was just one of those cute little moments, you know, that their mom had snapped. And so I only had this one photo of it. And this stamp set's really old. I don't know where it came from. It was like this already in a CD case that someone had labeled Stitches. And I got it at a scrapbook garage sale. So yeah, I have no idea where it came from. And then this is a new stamp that I had recently gotten, and Hopefully you could see the manufacturer there, because I can't tell from my small preview screen who that was by, but I just love all the graphic sketchy hearts that are on there. So here I'm taking a sticker from the sticker sheet just to put some of that yellow color in there, and there's a little tab that I'm going to put. And so now I'm done with the stamping that's going to go right next to my photo, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. Then I realized I glued it too high and didn't cover up where my frame is on the bottom there, so I have to move it down. So before it really gets stuck, I place it so that my yellow frame goes up underneath the photo. And I like this little So Happy speech bubbly thing, but I do cut off the speech bubble part and just put that on there. Just brings a little color up to that blown out area. So now I'm just looking through the sticker sheet, and I wasn't planning on placing that there, but when I kind of set it down, it stuck. So that's where that flag is going to stay. And here's where I look at this today, and I just liked the color, the yellow in it, just that little bit better. So I go ahead and go with that instead, because like I said, it's kind of just an everyday, in the moment stamp or photograph. So there I go back. It looks like that was a Sizzix, like Doodled Hearts or something like that is the name of that stamp set. And I'm just going back and taking a bunch of those off of there and stamping them around and overlapping and interlocking everything. And I'm going to fill that little frame up with the stamped images as well. And I love this, especially for little boy pages. You know, the graphic look and all the color and stuff. The Basic Gray collection is really good for boy pages. It's not, you know, too flowery, and yet it's still got a lot of color and fun. I put some lines down there at the bottom for their mom to be able to journal on. I added a little bracket there to the side. And then I go ahead and I put all my stamps away, and later I will just do some plain doodling on there. Those are some stamps from the Michaels dollar bin, one that says like, and then the other that has the thumbs up. So I'm liking that. So I decide to go ahead and commit and put that today down as my title. It's going to add a little bit of glue stick because their adhesive probably won't last forever. And then I use that lol up at the top, and I put another one that says love down at the bottom, and you'll see that here in just a minute. But at this point I wasn't quite sure where that was going to go, but I do decide to put another paper cluster down on the bottom left to just balance out the one I have on the upper right. And I'm just going to use some scraps I already had that match into what's on the top. And I apologize, I'm out of frame. I think I shift this up here in a second. Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a little cluster down there. And like I said, I had already put all my stamps away, so I kind of do some doodling just above that cluster to kind of tie it in to the rest of my layout. I just kind of duplicate it with a pen. And then I wind up taking another chipboard piece, the love there, and put it down. And I also mounted my photo on another bright yellow, and I put a little strip of color also just on the left-hand side. Pull a few more stickers off of the sticker sheet that came with the collection. And you can see down there at the bottom I added my own doodles, and I also added the boys' names. I think I put Levi's name next to the to that Choose Happy sticker on the upper left, and I put Mason's name I think over by the file tab on the lower right. Yeah, you can kind of see that I put their name. I put them in a couple places throughout, and I also took a black pen and went around the So Happy and around that notebook paper edge, and I colored in some of the other stamps with a black marker so that it would make them a little more black instead of gray. And then that is my finished layout. It was so fun to do and fun to pull out that old collection and all my old stamps and just kind of, you know, go at it and get this little moment documented. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything on this, just leave me a comment below and I will see you next time. Bye.